Vandergelder.
Horace? Vandergelder? Vandergelder's hay and feed?
Do you know him?
No! Oh, no.
Mr. Vandergelder's a very well-liked and substantial man, they tell me.
A lovely man, Mrs. Malloy. Just lovely. He has only one fault as far as I know. He's hard as nails.
Cornelius, I think.
Now I wonder if your friend might like this one.
Excuse us, Mrs. Malloy.
Gentlemen, what are you doing?
Help us, Mrs. Malloy. We'll explain everything later.
Come out of there this instant.
We're as innocent as can be, Mrs. Malloy.
Well, really, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, I insist that you both come out of there this minute or we forced to send Mr. Vandergelder.
Mrs. Malloy? I don't suppose Mrs. Levi is here, is she? She was supposed to meet me on that bench 10 minutes ago. Well, she can just come looking for me when she gets here. When I make an appointment, I like for people to be on time. Here's a present for you. Chocolate-covered peanuts. Unshelled. That's the expensive kind. Did I just see you talking with two men?
Men? Men, Mr. Vandergelder? Now what would men be doing in a ladies' hat shop? Now let's go back into my workroom. I'm so anxious for you to see it.
I saw it last week.
So you did, Mr. Vandergelder. Now what's new in the hay and feed business? I hear you have 3 new friends, all hard as nails.
What on earth are you talking about?
Yonkers. I hear it's a very beautiful city.
And who's been telling you about Yonkers, may I ask?
Nobody. A friend.
What friend?
Well, you see,
He?
A customer, Mr. Vandergelder. Someone quite well-to-do, as a matter of fact. He was in here buying hats for ladies, and it's always so foolish to ask in cases like that. It's a Mr. Hackle.
Did you say Hackle?
Do you know him?
He happens to be my head clerk, that's all. Mrs. Malloy, I demand an explanation.
And I'm going to give it to you. Why shouldn't she know Cornelius Hackle? Everyone in New York knows Cornelius Hackle. He's in the operas, in all fashionable homes. Why, he's at the Harmonia Gardens restaurant 3 times a week.
Impossible. He's only got $146.35. I keep it in my own safe.
Oh, Mr. Danielle, you're killing me. He's one of the Hackles. They built the canal.
What canal?
The Erie. No, the Panama? The Erie. Both. Oh.
It ain't the same man.
Who pulled the horses out of Jenny Lynn's carriage and pulled her through the streets? Cornelius Hackle. And who dressed up as a waiter at the restaurant and dropped an oyster down Mrs. Astor's? Oh, I can't say it, but it was Cornelius. He's the playboy of New York. Now, Irene, don't deny it. I know you were taken by him just like everyone else.
Dolly, what are you saying? I've only seen him once before in my life. Really, Dolly, excuse me. Oh. Now, Minnie, hold on. There is a man in there.
Now look here, if there's a man in that closet...
No, Mr. Vandergelder, you can't. It's too dangerous.
No man that hides in ladies' closets can frighten me, Mrs. Levi. Stand aside.
No man indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. I'm sure you'd make short work of any man. Those muscles, I can see them now rippling under your coat, back and forth, ripple, 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 back and forth, ripple, ripple, ripple.
For the last time, Mrs. Levi, will you stand aside?
Stand indeed, Mr. Vandergelder. That's exactly what the court will want to know when you're accused of entering that closet without a search warrant. I mean, what do you stand for if you don't stand for the law of this great land? I know what I stand for. I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take up your hat, Sir Betsy Ross's flag is passing due. You see him on the bridge at Gettysburg. Meet that great triumphal arch. If you see him as he's trampling through the grapes of wrath, stand up and march, march, march.
Has this not affected you, sir? I come here at 14 years of age as an immigrant girl from a land that oppressed my people, and I must stand here and echo that was once said by the great patriotic American...
Moses.
I stand for motherhood, America, and a hot lunch for orphans. Take off your hat, Sir
said march, march, march. So you see, Mr. Vandergelder, there couldn't possibly be a man in that closet.
Bless you!
God bless you.
Mrs. Malloy?
All right, Mr. Vandergelder. There is a man in that cupboard.
Aha!
And another under that table.
What the devil?
There also happens to be a very simple explanation, but for the present, good afternoon.
Good Lord, this whole room's crawling with men. I'll never get over it. So, I take it I'll see you later this afternoon, Mr. Vandergelder?
You certainly will, Mrs. Levi, on a certain floor with the main girl at the end of the parade. Good day, Mrs. Malloy.
Mrs. Malloy, I can explain everything.
I do not wish to hear any explanation, Mr. Hackle. Just you and Mr. Tucker do me the pleasure and leave my shop or be forced to send for Officer Gogarty.
If you ask me, Irene, calling an officer is letting them off too easy. The law courts, that's where they belong. Now, I've been adding up the legal offenses these two have committed, and believe me, you've got grounds for 2 writs, a non-compos mentis, and a garnishee. The first thing to do is make sure you settle it amicably first. Have dinner with them.
Dinner?
Is that absolutely necessary, Dolly?
It's the way things are done in the law, Irene. Dinner first, garnishee afterwards.
Well, if it must be, Mr. Hackle, Mr. Tucker, you may take Miss Fay and myself to dinner tonight.
Delighted, Mrs. Malloy. Now, I hear there's a very nice restaurant down at the train station.
Oh, no, Mr. Hackle.